The rush begins before the shutters are fully raised. In Paris, anxious shoppers push through store entrances, racing to grab air conditioners before shelves are empty. Staff struggle to control the crowds as soaring temperatures trigger a buying frenzy across Europe. The scramble inside stores tells only part of the story. A new study that is yet to be peer-reviewed claims the unprecedented European heat wave has already claimed more than 20,000 lives. Christopher Callahan from Indiana University. Bloomington estimates 2,390 heat-related deaths across Europe between June 22nd and 28th. Data from European governments shows that June temperatures climbed above 35 degrees Celsius for more than two-thirds of Europe's population, exposing hundreds of millions of people to prolonged and dangerous heat. Belgium recorded a 39% spike in deaths during the June heat wave. France reported a 30% increase in deaths over the same period. Europe's heat wave tragically demonstrates the need for air conditioning.
It's about 20% of EU homes have air conditioning versus about 90% in the United States. And really, this crisis of the extreme heat that we're seeing this summer and also in past summers, and we will continue to see, is really a kind of a heat mountain that the EU was never designed to climb. We've seen just in the past 4 years over 200,000 deaths from extreme heat.
It's not just homes. Germany's Farming Association warns that relentless heat and dry conditions are damaging grain harvests, raising concerns over food production if the weather persists. The landscape itself is changing. Wildfires are tearing through parts of Spain and France, forcing firefighters into a race against fast-moving flames. In southern France alone, around 3,000 people have been evacuated as fires spread through dry vegetation, driven by scorching temperatures and strong winds. Scientists say Europe is warming faster than almost every other continent, making extreme heat waves more frequent, more intense, and longer lasting. For millions of Europeans, this is no longer just another hot summer. It is becoming a test of how societies, cities, and healthcare systems survive when extreme heat becomes the new normal.
Paris mortuaries are full. Bodies are being driven 80 kilometers from the capital to find space. France recorded 9,000 deaths in a single week, 2,000 above normal, and the data covers only 60% of the country. A funeral director has a warning. We forgot it could happen again. Another heat wave arrives next week. According to preliminary data from the National Institute of Statistics and Economic Studies, reviewed by broadcaster BFM TV on July 3rd, France recorded nearly 9,000 deaths electronically certified nationwide between June 22nd and June 28th, including at least 2,025 above what would normally be expected for the period. The figures cover only around 60% of deaths nationwide, as electronic certification does not yet extend to all regions of France. Health Minister Stephanie Rist warned the numbers remain provisional and almost certainly undercount the full toll of the heat wave, particularly among people who died at home and in care facilities where paper death certificates are still common. Public Health France had earlier reported more than 1,200 deaths on the single day France recorded its hottest temperature in history, rising to more than 1,400 on each of the 2 days that followed, against a pre-heat wave baseline of 900 to 1,000 deaths per day. 85% of the deaths registered during those 3 peak days involved people aged 65 and older, with deaths at home rising by roughly 40%, particularly in the Paris region. The surge in deaths overwhelmed the capital's mortuary system entirely. Zuhair Hertelli, a mortuary owner near Orly Airport, said all 32 places in his cold room were taken, and that he had been forced to turn away hundreds of calls from funeral directors and grieving families seeking space.
We are currently inside our cold storage room. We have 32 slots, and as you can see, they are all full. Each label bears the deceased person's full name and their date of arrival. Over the weekend, I received more than 150 calls and had to turn away over 150 bodies. People are in a state of utter distress and panic. Imagine your father's or mother's body decomposing, and we are unable to take charge of it. We have no solution to offer them. We simply cannot meet the demand.
Here's how I got.
City Hall installed 2 temporary storage units of 20 places each at municipal mortuaries and hospitals, providing an additional 50 spaces. But funeral directors told her telly they were still transporting bodies as far as Chartres, 80 kilometers from Paris, to find room. Her telly said he had applied for permission to install refrigerated containers outside his mortuary, but was still waiting for approval. Paris funeral director Véronique Bertrand said most of the deaths she had handled involved people living alone, and warned the country had allowed the lessons of 2003, when a heatwave killed roughly 15,000 people in France, to fade from public memory.
I think people absolutely need to wake up, and that solidarity needs to come back. With the passing years, we've perhaps forgotten that it could happen again, and that things would even perhaps be worse.
France's weather office has warned that another extreme heat event could return as early as next week. With death certificate data still incomplete and figures expected to rise significantly once all records are processed, the full human cost of Europe's worst heatwave on record remains far from known.
This morning, a dangerous heat wave gripping Europe. Sizzling from Spain to France to Italy and Germany, millions now under heat alerts. In France, the extreme heat turning deadly, costing at least 18 people their lives. Temperatures soaring over 107 degrees in Bordeaux, shattering previous records. In the French capital, some schools closing early this week, and the city's fountains and cooling stations packed as Paris nears its hottest June days ever recorded.
We're not jumping into our cars with AC. We're walking everywhere, mostly, or taking public transportation, which rarely has AC.
And others taking the plunge. Elsewhere, Spanish soccer fans got a refreshing dousing by civil protection services. And across Italy, multiple cities under red alerts.
We try to seek shelter when we can and go home and take a nap at the hottest times of the day.
Meteorologists blame a massive heat dome, a ridge of high pressure trapping hot air from North Africa, with scientists warning human-driven climate change is making extreme heat more frequent and more intense.
And it's very slow moving, and it means there's kind of no wind, no breeze for respite, and it just kind of sits there and produces heat underneath.
And what makes it even deadlier over here, air conditioning is just not that common. Across parts of Europe, only about 20% of households have AC. In the UK, it's about 14%. Health alerts now in effect across England, and forecasters warn the worst may still be ahead later this week.
The worst may still be yet to come, Craig. You can probably hear or at least see the kids cooling off and parents cooling off behind me. I know what our crew is doing after this live shot. But this country wasn't built for hot weather. Old house is not energy efficient. As you just heard, no AC. And I will say, if you are lucky enough to be going on a European vacation this summer, get yourself near the coast and in the water. Craig?
All right. I can't deal with this shit. Please make it stop. Please. I can't breathe. There's no air. Please, God, I'm begging you, please. Make it stop. Please. I'm melting. I'm melting. Please, I'm melting. What's up out there, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another hot, informative video. I hope all is well with you guys out there on this beautiful Monday. All is well here. Well, as we can see, Europe is basically getting fried, okay? There's a lot of deaths, people are, experiencing. from heat-related, injuries or what have you. Heat-related. Okay, it says here, deadly heat wave covers Europe, and estimated 20,390 heat-related deaths occurred between June 22 to June 28. All right, people are over there frying, and with no help in sight. There are people actually fighting to get into stores, to get fans and air conditioning. It's got to be bad. I haven't seen that kind of stuff since they, have the Black Friday deals. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Well, a lot worse than that. Okay, hey, that's just what it is. People are actually burning up. Now, here's the deal. There's a certain demographic of people that this is actually affecting, as we can see, on the screen, of course. Every year, the earth seems to warm up, and it gets very, very hot, okay? And what it does, the reason for that is the Most High, of course, and what it does is actually expels things or what have you that don't belong on it, okay? And I guess that's what it all boils down to. And it's going to get a hell of a whole lot worse as time goes on. The Most High Word says these things, But I have some people giving their personal opinions on it, and I want to read a Bible scripture before we do go over there and check out also what Jane Elliott has to say about it. And the deaths that's actually also occurring from people jumping into rivers, not being able to swim. So let's check these out. Here's the scripture I want to read before we check out those other videos, though. Revelation 16, verse 8, and it reads, "And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire." Now look, we haven't reached this level yet, but this is why I say it's going to get even worse. But this is what's actually leading up to, this scripture right here, what we will see eventually, okay? But here's what the deal is right here. Verse 9, "And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of Yahweh, which hath power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory." See, it's bad when you don't want to give the Most High his glory. And so therefore, these plagues are going to continually get worse, and there will be more lives lost as a result of it. So let's get to those other videos.
Hey, listen to me, bro. Hey, France over there, they unaliving at a high rate because of the fucking heat radiation. And if your ass not meant to be here, bro, your ass about to deal with the same shit too, bro. That heat a motherfucker, bro. If your skin can't take that shit, bro, you done. Your ass better get that sunscreen, and you better hope that shit save your life. Cause, hey, boy, the rate that this shit going, bro, you niggas got another thing coming, bro. Y'all better look at this shit right here, bro. Man, go look into what I'm talking about, bro. I just ain't talking, fam. If your ass not meant to be here, bro, you're done, bro. The planet is cleansing itself, bro. Y'all think this shit happening just for no reason? You gotta be a fucking idiot if you think like that. The time is now, bro. If your ass not meant to be here, bro, you're done. And that's on me. If you can't handle the smoke, if you can't handle the heat, goodbye.
Bro, white people are so cooked right now, and I mean this literally. This is what's happening over in Europe right now. Extreme heat wave that has taken thousands of people's lives, and they literally have no idea how to deal. Look, bananas are literally falling off of the peels. It's so hot. Tires are melting. Cars are melting. You can fry eggs from the sun over there, and thousands of people are now dead. The air conditioning isn't working. Their systems are antiquated. Look at this. That's crazy. Meanwhile, over in China, they're playing the classic game of slip and slide, only they're doing it over buildings and streets and highways. I mean, they literally have a truck to cool down cars as they're driving. They even have street poles going across, cooling down the cars as they're driving. Why can't white people think of stuff like this? Only Asians would come up with such a simple solution to prevent cars from literally melting. White people, we are so doomed. It's crazy. I mean, I was literally scrolling through Kua.com. You know that place, the #1 place for you to get all of your world news at your fingertips and have an AI butler read it to you? Yeah, 2,000 people, 1,000 people in France, 1,000 people in Spain, dead on arrival because of this heat wave, because literally Europe has no idea how to deal with the sun. Maybe that's why everybody's white over there. My name is Mike Dean. You're watching the Daily Rumble. Follow along for more and go to Kua.com to get all of your news at your fingertips.
They will realize that as the hole in the ozone layer gets larger and larger, more and more sunlight is allowed to enter our environment, and more people who have pale faces are going to die of melanoma, which is a skin cancer that you get if you don't have enough melanin in your skin. Let me tell you, people of color are going to be very much in demand for reproduction in the future. Mark my words, you're laughing now, but you wait 20 years. You won't even have to wait 20 years, because they're going to see that if they want their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren to survive, they're going to have some melanin in their skin. That's the way it's going to be. This is going to take care of itself.
Check this out. Millions of people across the continent right now are living in extreme heat. 1,300 deaths have been linked to extreme heat measures in Europe. But on Sunday morning, France's National Health Ministry said that there has been around 1,000 more deaths than expected in the country. It's so damn hot out there, it's to the point that people are fighting over AC units and fans. Extreme high temperatures are reported in Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, and Australia also. They even named this heat wave the silent killer, as European homes, workplaces, and schools are not built for this type of heat. Meanwhile, the United States faces a heat wave of its own this week. Whatever you gotta do it. Stay out of the heat, stay cool, and stay safe.
Before we go to the next video, I just want to address some of the things that these people said, like what Jane Elliott said, and the other guy was talking about white people are so cooked. It is said that London is not calling, it is burning now, okay? But this is not confined just to Europe. This will spread rapidly throughout this entire globe. You know what I mean? And people of so-called European descent will be affected by it. They will be highly affected, disproportionately more so than so-called black people and any other race with a higher melanin content. Okay, and that's just what it is. Call it what you want. Has nothing to do with racism, but this is just basically telling the truth. But nevertheless, you got these idiots. You know what I'm saying? White nationalists calling themselves marching on DC, talking about taking America back. What you better be doing is planning on seeing how you gonna stay coon, not coon, but cool. So you better be trying to figure out how you gonna stay cool and avoid the impending judgment that's being poured out upon you as you march, and you don't even get it. And then see what I don't like about it. They ain't nothing but the new generation of the Klan. Basically, that's what that all boils down to. They hide their faces like cowardly people do when they're doing something wrong. You see? And the reason why they hide their faces is simply because these are some of your everyday people. Not just your judges, you know what I mean, doctors, lawyers, police officers, but we're talking about people that you see at work. You see what I'm talking about? Wherever you are, you know what I mean? Hey, they just smile at you, everything's all well, good, and every damn thing else while you're at work. but when your back turned, they got something foul to say about you. You see what I'm saying? How much they hate ends and everything else. This is the reason why they are hiding their faces. These are the same people that you see in stores. These are the same people that will invite you over for dinner or a so-called backyard party, which I wouldn't advise you to go. Okay, but I'm just saying, these are the same people. This is the reason why their faces are being covered. You see, because they don't want people to know just how low life they are. You see what I'm saying? So while they sitting up there trying to march, you better be coming up with a very, very cool solution to how you gonna survive, which I know you're not, because basically you are made to fail. And that's just what it is. Now, I want us to go to this video on to today's show. Is it today? Well, we'll find out when we get there. I don't think it is. But anyway, Gayle King is basically narrating it. And it's talking about people actually that have died trying to stay cool, jumping into rivers that they couldn't even swim in. Okay?
Extreme weather is not just limited to this country. Europe is being hit by a deadly heat wave. People have been lining up to buy fans in the UK and Paris too. Most of them there do not have air conditioning, so imagine what that feels like. Dozens have drowned in France just trying to beat the heat. Lee Canary is in London with the latest. Lee, good morning. I have friends who are on vacation in Paris. They said it was 111 degrees at noon yesterday. Yikes.
That's right, Gail. It is hot. We are under a heat dome covering Western and Central Europe. For most people, the heat is just an inconvenience, but for some, authorities warn it could be deadly.
Europe is diving into summer earlier and more intensely this year. France's hottest day ever was recorded Tuesday, in one spot reaching over 111 degrees.
We are hot like a steaming bun.
So hot the Eiffel Tower was forced to close early.
It's disappointing, but you just have to accept it.
Authorities are warning of a threat to life, especially for the vulnerable. They advise against swimming in unauthorized areas. Already in France, 40 people have drowned in the last week, mostly young people. Last year, the heat fueled the continent's worst wildfire season ever. Now firefighters are bracing for more. In Spain, they're used to heat, but not this much this soon.
Es horrible esto.
This heat wave is shattering records for June. In the UK, people are flocking to water wherever they can find it, because outside is cooler than in.
Do you have air conditioning at home?
No, don't need it. In Victorian houses, the air moves quite freely, and if you leave the windows open at night when you're at home, it cools down.
But in the daytime, community centers with AC have become a lifeline. Infrastructure is under strain. Trains have been suspended, causing commuting chaos, and many schools have been forced to close.
The extreme temperatures are expected to last till the weekend. At a climate conference here in London this week, the UN Secretary General said London isn't calling anymore, it is cooking. Matt?
Lee, thank you. Hopefully you can find some air conditioning.
There you have it, folks. Europe is cooking, as the lady said. People are dropping off like flies from the heat, okay? And that's basically what it is. It's just one of those things, you know. This has nothing to do, this video, with racism or whatever. It's just showing what is actually going on with people that just can't stand the heat, okay? It's just too much. These people are actually literally cooking in the sun. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this guy's shoulder right here, you can see, look like actual burns, you know, where the skin is actually wrinkling up and what have you. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, yes, very, very hot. But my advice be to a lot of so-called white people, you better repent. Because the impending doom that's coming up on this earth is not going to relent. It will find you and it will get you, you know, and the Most High is just starting with it. You see, just by the intense heat. You got people diving off into water that they can't even swim, you know, can't swim in, or just can't swim at all, but just for the sake of staying cool, and they losing their lives. And that's just what it is. So again, to the white nationalists, you better divert your attention to how you're going to stay cool. And I can guarantee you, those white masks that you are wearing, you'll be peeling those off pretty soon too. It's going to get so hot you ain't going to be able to stand even keeping them, probably not even your clothes on. You're going to be diving off in the water too. So I can't just say, tell you to take a flying leap, because you already are doing that. That's just what it is. That's all I got on this video, people. I want you guys to tell me what you think about the situation right here. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we're being watched. Simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.